Jonathan.
Hey,
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast here.
all right.
Where did we leave off last time in our last episode?
Last time we set up the what's it called?
The store procedure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and share your screen.
Putting all these pieces together now.
Yeah. And let's open up all the tools that we need, including SQL Server.
All right.
So this one here, it's the page count and the page number, right? And we could run that test. So if we do, give me a total of 10 for page 1, we would say, we'd switch that page 5 to 1. So that gives us 1 through 10. And then we could switch that 1 to a 2. That would give us 11 through 20. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we expect, right? And so with that, we can go start paging, right? So this is the start procedure, but we need to modify the API in order to be able to receive the correct results from the start procedure. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's go over to Visual Studio.
Okay.
So this contact item is what's being displayed on the screen on the list, right? And this time what's going to happen is that we're basically going to receive 10 items at a time, which means that we have to take this contact item. We're going to create a list out of it, right? But we need an encapsulating object that we can put that list into. And this encapsulating object is going to not only have that list, it's also going to tell us what page we're on and how many records per page we have. And then I believe that we also have a count. So if we go look at the start procedure for a moment, I think there's 2 results in there. If you scroll down on that start procedure, you see we got that select count from person. So we have the total number of records on line 27. So we're getting the total number of records that we have in the table. So we can say we got page 1, we're seeing 10 records, and it's 10 out of a total of 99 records. So the user knows like how many records are still waiting to be fetched as they page through each page, right? So let's go do this. Let's go back to Visual Studio. And let's create a new object under the models folder. And we're going to call that object. Let's call it contact results. Or better yet, you can right click on contact results and call it contact page results. It's a little bit of a long name, but I think it's more self-explanatory. Yes. Okay. And so we're going to add a couple of properties in there. Contact item list. So go ahead and type in props. Let's press enter again. And this time we need a property that's going to hold our page number. And then we need the total number of records that we're displaying, right? So we need page size. And then we need the total number of record counts that exist at the server. If we go over to our data folder and we go to contact data, we're going to need to do a couple of things. This is going to change quite a bit. So our return type is no longer going to be a list of contact items. it is now going to be on line 15. You're going to change that list contact items to contact page results. Okay, so we need the list of contact items. That's perfectly fine. We need the connection string on line 18. We need the connection or the command on line 20. We need line 22, which specifies the store procedure command type. We need to open up our connection. And then we need to execute the reader. So here's where things are going to change. Let's add a new line number after line 24. Do, and then tab. Yeah. And then here, you're going to type in reader dot.
Where the true is?
Right where the true is at. No, right where the true is at. Reader dot next result. Yep, that's it. And then press enter. And then lines 29 through line 33, you're going to put it inside where line 27 is at. Yeah. So here's a, reader. Oh, I think that's an open close parentheses on the result. There you go. So here's what's going on. Let's go, and what we're doing here is we're telling the SQL reader on line 24, we're saying go and execute the reader so that we can start streaming the results that are coming from SQL Server. And then we say, we're going to enter a loop, and we're going to say, you're going to do this at least one time. And while the reader continues to get items from the results, we're going to continue to add them through the mapper. And we're going to add them to this contact item. And then we add it to the response, right? So that we create the list of that contact item. Once we're done, then what we're going to do is we're going to go and grab the next result. So let's go to SQL Server really quick. This first 10 records, that's your first result. That one record with the 99, that happens to be your second result in code. So when it says, reader.next result, what you're telling it is go grab me that next set of data. So since we only have one, all we really care is about that one column. And so we know what the structure is. We know that we only have one column, even though that one column doesn't have a name because it's no column name. We don't care. We just want to grab that first row, that first column, whatever result is in there. That's what we want to grab. So the first 10 records, it's result number 1. The next result is that number. So let's go back to Visual Studio. After line 16, let's create a new line after 16 because we have to initialize our variable. So let's initialize the variable on line 16, and we're going to initialize contact page results. And we'll call that one result RSLT. After line 32, let's create a new one. And let's go ahead and say result dot contact item list is equal to RESP. So that's the response list that we just created. We need to change line 15. See where it says get contact list inside those parentheses. We're gonna create an integer. So it's an int. And then the name of that int is going to be row count, and then comma, or I'm sorry, it's one word, but you separate it by capitalizing it. And then comma, another int, and that's going to be page no. After line 33, RSLT dot page size is equal to row count. And I think I want to rename, go ahead and give that a semicolon. Let's rename, go up to line 15 and rename that row count. And let's call it page size, lowercase page, uppercase size. And then let's also on line, after line 34, RSLT dot page no equals page no. That's fine. You go ahead and select that one. Now let's rename on line 15. Let's rename that page no to lowercase page no. So just replace the uppercase P. Yeah, there you go. Press enter or apply. After line 25, and let's create a new variable called int record set. And it's going to be equal to 0. At the end of line 36, give me a new line. And say record set plus plus, semicolon. So we're incrementing record set plus 1. Inside that read, give me a new line after line 30. And in here, you're going to say switch, tab. And you're going to switch on record set. Cool. After line 32, give me a new line. And here, we're going to say case space 0, and then colon, and go ahead and press enter, and then type in break, and then put a semicolon. And you're going to do the same thing with case 1. So lines 40 and 41, you're going to add it after line 33. And this is going to be RSLT dot rec count equals reader, lowercase reader, yep, dot get int 32, and then open close parenthesis. And inside there, you're going to just put a 1. Or no, it is actually a 0. Sorry. The first column is a 0. So all we want to do is just get that one result out of there. And we're pretty much done at that point.
Oh.
And then on line 54, we actually need to return our SLT. Cool. So there's a couple of things that we broke here, Jonathan. If you go to the very top, you see how that eye contact data doesn't like it anymore. So let's go open up eye contact data. And we need to, that on line 8, instead of returning list contact item, we need to return contact page result. And then let's go over to the controller, to the contact controller. Let's rename, the reason this wasn't broken is because we're using var, which basically implies whatever you want to return, I'll go ahead and assign it to that. So let's rename that contact list, right click on it and rename it to contact result. and get rid of the to array open close parenthesis. All right. This is exciting stuff. Let's save all this. And we can run it, but I think the page is going to break. But let's go ahead and save everything. Control-Shift-S. We need to, on line 17, in between the parentheses of get contact list, we need to indicate with square brackets that from the query, so from query, which means that the address, basically, we're going to get two items. First one's going to be int, and it's going to be page count, so it'll be lowercase page, uppercase CNT, and then comma, and we're going to need another int, and it's going to be page no, lowercase p, uppercase no. Okay. And then we also need to send that page count and page no to get contact list on line 21. So line 21, inside the parentheses, just type in page CNT, comma, page NO. And we just broke something else again. It says, well, I don't have a method that can take care of this. So we need to go back to the I contact data. And we need to put those parameters inside line 8 in line 8 inside the parentheses. All right. Did that fix it? Let's go look at contact data, the class for contact data. It's actually page size. Oh. It's not page count, it's page size. So let's go change it in iContact data, page size. And then let's go change it in the controller, page size. And change it up on that one too, page size. What is it complaining about? Hover over that. Takes 2 arguments. Get contact list. Go ahead and right click and go to definition on that contact list. Oh, this is the repository. The repository also has to change. So we need to change the return type. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do the parameters. Page size and page count. Not page count, page no. And then the return type happens to be the contact page result. And then let's go into expand repository. The repository over, repository folder, and then go into the contact repository. And we also need to change the return type on line 14 and then add the parameters to get contact list. And then also on line 16, the response changes from list contact item to contact page results. And then get contact list, you need to pass in page size, comma, page no. Oh. Control-Shift-S to save everything. And now we can go and modify the React page. All right. So let's go to Visual Studio Code. And for now, let's just go ahead on line 10, after the contact, after the word contact, put in question mark. What is it? page size, lowercase page, uppercase size equals 10. Don't put spaces in between this one. It's like sometimes you need spaces, sometimes you don't. And then put the ampersand, which is capital 7. Page no equals 1. So these are called query parameters. All right. So let's go ahead and save this and run it, and let's see if it works. Cross your fingers.
All right. Here we go. Oh.
Yeah, allow access. Wants to install a virus? Yes, install it. Let's make sure it runs. Oh, I know why. Let's go back into Visual Studio Code. So the response data is no longer the response data that we used to have. The response data is now different. Let's go down to the return and let's go look for the map where we're mapping right there. So it's contact list dot. It'll be contact item list. I believe that it's going to be a lowercase. I think that's going to be a lowercase c. So contact list. And where are we getting this contact list? Can we go look at where this contact list is coming from? So this is contact list. Let's right click and rename that. Let's rename that to contact result. Lowercase, yep. Press enter. And let's go make sure that it changed it everywhere else. Let's go up. Let's go up again. And let's right click on set contact list. Right click and rename that to set contact result.
All right.
I think that might work. Let's scroll down to the return and make sure that the contact list changed to contact result. Contact result, yep. Contact item list map. All right, let's save it and let's go back to the browser and see. Or did you stop it? We have to run it again?
Yeah, I stopped it.
Let's run it again. Let's open up that the debugger tools. So clearly, it doesn't take just junk for an initialization. So I think what we need to do, Jonathan, if you go to Visual Studio.net or Visual Studio 2019, and let's look at Visual Studio 2019. Yeah, let's look at your contact page result. Okay, so contact item list, page no, page size, rec count. We're going to need an object that initializes to this result. Okay, let me write down these values really quick so that I can remember them as I'm guiding you through it. So we need contact item list. We need page no. We need page size and rec count. All right, let's go ahead and go back to Visual Studio Code. And inside the square brackets on line 7, give me a new line.
Right here?
No, inside the square brackets. I mean the curly brackets, my apologies. Right there. And we're going to say lowercase contact item list. And then semicolon or colon. And this is going to be an empty array. So square brackets, empty square brackets. and then comma after that. And then press enter and give me page no. And go ahead and colon, and we're going to put a 0 in there. And then comma. And then the next line will be page size. 0. And then page count, or rec count, sorry. Lowercase rec. Count is spelled out. Or is it? You put 0. Let's go make sure that the rec count, I'm pretty sure it is. That's what I wrote it. Yeah, it's rec count. Okay, let's go back to Visual Studio Code and get rid of the last comma. All right, let's save that and go back and see what we got.
Yay.
So essentially, your initial state has to match what your ultimate result is going to be.
Got it.
It doesn't take junk. So this is working the way we would expect it. Let's go and open up Postman. At the end of that URL, go ahead and put a question mark at the end.
We need to put it on our get.
Yeah, so you can just go ahead and go to that second tab again and then change it to a get instead of a post. And then change its contact, right? So yeah, at that point, you can just go ahead and paste it on there. Try that. Yeah.
Right.
Look at that. Page number 1, page size is 10. Record count is 100.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you got page 1, you got total result of 10 of 100. It's essentially what we would end up with.
Cool.
Cool. But we did get our API done, which is impressive. And I think we have a lot other things that we need to get done. And I'm looking forward to getting those done in the next episode.